Grace and peace, everybody. You saw the thumbnail, you saw the title. You know that it's National YSL Trial Motion Response Day. Happy day. Man, it's crazy, man. This thing has gone, when I tell you it's gone way over the shark, this thing has jumped the shark, and I'm not even joking. I, I got something for you today. You all are not ready for it. You're not. You're just not ready for it. Anyway, grace and peace, everybody. We're back, and we are going to look at this YSL, some, dare I say again, some of the responses from the state to the motions that were filed earlier this week. And the reason this is important is because on Tuesday, Judge Whitaker is going to start hearing these motions. So she wants to get all this stuff out of the way, get all the wrangling, all the politicking, all that stuff is getting out of the way so we can get down to some brass tacks on Monday. I'm sorry, on Tuesday. So definitely, definitely this week coming up is going to be firework central. I'm still kind of thinking that she's going to probably end up it's still going to go into a mistrial with prejudice. And that's still my little 2 cents. She went home, she looked online, she just started doing some searches. She said, "What is this dumpster fire that I've gotten myself into?" And so that's what I still think. But there's a lot of people still holding out that no, this is going to go to, it's going to go to the jury and all that. And that's perfectly fine because this is more opportunities for us to learn and to such of that nature. So I appreciate you stopping by today. Thank you, everybody who's already got in the chat, who's already hit the like button. And let me see real quick. Who's already hit the like button. I really do appreciate it. That's one of the motions we're about to read in a second. And they're not real long, though. I will say this. They're not long. And somebody said they're not long because the state really didn't have anything to say. Like, yikes. That's kind of brutal. All right. I want to try out a feature. I want to try out a feature. We have a video, a song about the trial. So I already had the motions that I was going to play and read through. Those are going to be kind of fun. But then I have a feature I want to try out. I haven't used this in a long time, so I want to try it out. So please make sure you hit the like button and go ahead and hit hashtag YSL because there's a reason why. And then also there's actually a song, and it's pretty good, about this trial. So I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put the song. Maybe after the second motion we go through, maybe we'll do it then, but I think you'll enjoy it. I think it'll be worth your time. So thank you so much, everybody who's already jumped into the chat. Thank you, everybody who is going to hit that like button and such of that nature. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. My name is Jason. Again, I'm a pre-K law student. And what does that mean, Jason? That means I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just a guy that lives here in Atlanta, Georgia, that has been very, very interested in these cases that have been going on nationwide, especially locally, and how they impact our society. So I wanted to talk about those. So thank you so much for coming aboard today to hear what I'm saying and from giving social and political commentary from a Christian male perspective. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And let's get at it because we got a lot to do. So let's go. Jason, what we got today? I got a lot of options over here. Sorry about that. Bang. Let's look at the first one. So this is the state is replying back to, there's very possibly there's going to be about 20 motions today. A very intelligent person, Black law student, told me that there's probably going to be about 20 when the smoke clears. That's why they're literally calling this National YSA Trial Motion Response Day. Like it's a holiday in their mind because there's just so much information coming. But not all of them are equal. Not every motion that's being filed, every motion that's coming out is worth it. Some of them, even in these ones that I have here, some of them are very similar, or they're about something that happened on day 30 of the trial, and they're just now speaking on the motion related to it. So therefore, some of them are not as important and as, dare I say, interesting as other ones. So I picked the ones at the current moment. I had 6. So I picked the 4 that I thought were the most important. And really, there's one that is a stinger, as Doug Weinstein, he addresses Fonnie Willis, and he's not playing games with her. So long story short, and back around the block, the reason, so some of these, I'm not going to address all 20 that are possibly going to be released today at all, not even trying to pretend like that. So let us go. This is the state of Georgia versus good old Mr. Jeffrey Williams. We all know who Jeffrey is. We know that's Young Thug. So this is the state's response in opposition to defendant's motion for correct ruling on assuming I'm rather facts, not in evidence. And I'm not 100% certain exactly when this happened. So that's why I had to weed through some of them and get to the ones that I thought made the most sense. I talked to a Black law student and I explained to what I understood. He said, yep, you're on track or whatnot like that. So shout out to him. On June 10th, the defendant Williams moved this court to vacate proper rulings on state objections precluding cross-examination questions, which assume facts not in evidence. Defendant Williams does not include a request for specific relief or provide authority to substantiate his request. Instead, Williams cryptically asserts that somehow his right to effective cross examination has been curtailed. Trial court currently, or rather correctly, sustains state's objection to questions assuming facts not in evidence. Williams' motion should be denied. I'm thinking that listening to some of the wrangling and the back and forth that they do in this court is just literally epic theater. It is epic theater of the highest order. And some of this back and forth to me is it doesn't it just as again as a pre-K law student, it like, man, what's the purpose of this? Why did you waste your time writing this? Because this is the longest motion that we're going to hear from the state. The rest of them are super short, comparatively speaking. But let's go. Argument and citation of authority. At the onset, Williams never provides authority that inquiring into unproven and irrelevant areas, to wit, facts not in evidence, classifies as specific mode of cross-examination imparted by the constitutional requirements. You don't have the authority to ask for this stuff because it's not related to you. Okay, I think that makes sense. Even grounds that the constitutionality protected. Whoa, sorry about that. Constitutional grounds, even that even grounds that are constitutionally protected, however, may be subject to judicial controls. Okay, keep it going. Protected, even assuming argument arguendo, arguendo, which means basically just to argue the point that questions assuming facts not in evidence were of the same stripe and as an area like bias rules 401, 403, and 611 would preclude Williams' proposed inquiries. Williams' Sixth Amendment right to effective cross examination was not infringed by disallowing questions seeking to elicit facts not in evidence. So, long story short, you have the right to cross examine somebody who's accusing you. I think we all got that. However, you can't ask questions about things that are not in evidence or facts that are not that are not illicit facts that you have access to. So I understand what she's saying or what the state is saying. So let's keep going. Pursuant to both this code and that code, the trial court has correctly prohibited defendant Williams from posing questions that assume facts not in evidence. And I think we can't assume that somebody did something or that you're asking a question that has not been clearly established. Okay, I think I understand that. Holds that jury proceedings shall be conducted to the extent of practicable so as to prevent inadmissible evidence from being suggested to the jury by any means, including but not limited to making statements or offers of proof of asking questions in the hearing of the jury. And let us continue to go. And it did not click over, or did it? It did not. Oh, sorry about that. Wait, did it skip page 3? It didn't go up to the top. Sorry about that. All right. But the Fifth Circuit has made it clear that questions which assume facts not in evidence are not constitutionally protected and subject to exclusion by trial courts pursuant to the rules of evidence. Okay. You can't just assume something and ask a question about it. Okay. I can rock with that. That makes sense. That comports with what makes sense and what we've heard so far. I can get with it. Let us get, I'm just going to read a couple of quick bullets and then we'll get to what the end result of this is. The rule permits court, and I'm just going to read this big bold section at the bottom. The rule permits the court to preclude questions that obscure truth because they are ambiguous, confusing, misleading, argumentative, compound, or assume facts not in evidence. I think that would be right. Williams' motion attempts to constitutionalize areas of examination that is not so protected, even assuming arguendo, again, arguing the point that questions assuming facts not in evidence were in the same stripe as areas like bias, rules 401, 403, and 611 would preclude Williams' proposed inquiries. Williams' Sixth Amendment, I just read this. No, No, Williams' Sixth Amendment rights, effective cross examination would not infringe upon, disallowing questions seeking to elicit facts not in evidence. And continue. You can't ask questions about something that has not been proven or that's not a fact in evidence. Example being, is it true that you threw the gerbil? Well, that's not fact and evidence. You're just saying that. So you can't, that's not across, you don't get to use your Sixth Amendment, say, yes, I can ask that question because it's not a fact and evidence that I threw a gerbil because I don't throw gerbils. Let us continue. Pursuant to both of these codes, the trial court has correctly prohibited defendant Williams from posing questions that assume facts not in evidence. Holds that jury proceedings shall be conducted to the extent of practicable so as to prevent inadmissible evidence from being suggested to the jury by any means, including but not limited to making statements or offers of proof, asking questions in the hearing of the jury. Why do I feel like I just read that? I think I did. Yes, this is page 4. No, we're right. Okay. And so now objections. Let me make sure I'm not. Okay, good. All right. Here's objections. Objections to assuming facts not in evidence are proper. Permitting questions that assume facts not in evidence to a witness can confuse the jury because they are considering information that is never properly admitted as evidence in trial. And we already know that if you throw out an idea that has not been proven, it could confuse the jury. That makes sense. I can get with that. All right, let's go. In the court overturned a trial judge's decision to set aside a jury verdict based upon insufficiency of the evidence because the district courts assumed facts not in evidence and made unsupported assumptions. Got you. Defendant Williams' improper questions, which assume facts not in evidence, could confuse the jury during deliberation, similar to the trial judge in this particular case. In Satterfield versus State, appellant enumerated an error an as error at trial. Counsel's failure to object to prosecutors' questions of a witness, which improperly assumed that these offenders had created the mess, in fact, that the witness did not know and which was not directly in evidence. So again, they're asking a witness about something that they don't know, and they're using that as if that person would be able to speak authoritatively because they don't have the facts and evidence. Gotcha. Ultimately, the court held the trial. Counsel's failure to object to these improper questions could be qualified as a reasonable strategic decision and did not find prejudicial error. Okay. Nonetheless, the fact that the Supreme Court diligently undertook analyzing appellant's objection to improper questions that assume facts not in evidence overscores the validity of such an objection. Defendant Williams classifies such objections as specious, but the Supreme Court of Georgia and federal courts view them as unequivocally valid. Moreover, Williams seeks to ask questions to imply matters at best. Williams cannot substantiate. For example, defendant, uh, why does it keep jumping? Oh, we just having a good old time here, Jason. First things first, make this smaller. Okay, there we go. Oh, you know why? It seems like it's 2 pages. That's why. It's going from page 2. Yeah, page 3 is over here. Why did it do that? It's not like that over here. It's going from page 2 to page 3, but it's like in preview mode. Okay, hold on one second. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, that is a little better, but not much, Jason. Where were we? We were on page 5. Williams cannot substantiate, for example, defended Williams asked Detective Belknap, do you realize that the Fulton County and in our county, the only in our country, the only artist lyrics that have ever been prosecuted in a criminal case are rap lyrics? Okay. So he's asking a detective a question and that has not been established that the only um lyrics that have ever been used are rap lyrics. Okay, I can understand what they're saying. Absolutely. Makes it said make that a little bit bigger for y'all. Sorry. It's not making it any bigger. There we go. To begin with, the question is predicated on a falsehood, as this court's details orders on the instruction of gang lyrics proves this is not a true threat case and not one defendant is being prosecuted for expressive activity of any kind. Plus, this line of questioning is unsourced and in conflict with known proof. No evidence had been introduced regarding national prosecution statistics on defendants' lyrics or criminal trials. So basically, before you can say that, you need to prove that that is in fact true. And that makes sense. This question also assumes that only rap lyrics have been prosecuted and thus is permissed on evidence never admitted at trial. So again, they never proved in trial that only lyrics that they're using are rap lyrics and only lyrics that have been ever used in a case are rap lyrics. Got you. Okay. A point that was refuted by the state, I'm sorry, refuted in the state's briefing and hearing on the admissibility of gang lyric evidence. Similarly, defendant Williams' counsel asked Special Agent Rossi if he knew that Dolly, defendant Williams' sister, was in a relationship with Jimmy Winfrey in 2015. State objected because there had been no evidence that the two were in a relationship in 2015. Okay. So these are some good examples of evidence not in, I'm sorry, yeah, facts not in evidence. Oh, sorry about that. Facts not in evidence. So let's finish this up because I want to get to something fun I had planned for y'all. Let's see. Can I zoom in? It's not gonna allow me to zoom in. Okay. Williams does not have the right to float unsupported and unsupported supportable distractions using sworn witnesses as the vehicle. Okay. I kind of understand this. I'm like, yeah, I can kind of get with what they're saying. Therefore, Williams requests to prohibit this court from sustaining any further objections to questions that assume facts not in evidence should be rejected. Conclusion: Williams' assertion that the Sixth Amendment rights have been curtailed by the court's sustaining of the state's objection to questions that assume the facts, not in evidence, is invalid and unsustainable. There is no constitutional or statutory right to ask irrelevant and unsupported questions during examination. The prior evidentiary rulings on this matter have been in accord with the Georgia and federal constitutions and rules of evidence. Williams' motion should be denied. Okay. I mean, as much as I don't want to admit it, I'm like, I can dig that. And that makes sense. I think that they're probably right on that one. Again, I'm not 100% certain. My name is Jason. I'm a pre-K law student. I have no idea what I'm talking about, but it does seem like it would be right that you can't just say something. Example being, is it true that you saw? Is it true that little Johnny throws gerbils? Well, it can't be true if it hasn't already been established that little Johnny's the one that throws gerbils. That's not fair. Um, so I can kind of get with that. I can roll with that. No problem. I guess I can say no problem. I guess I can get with it. All right, let's try something fun. Hold on, let's open that up. Okay. All right, let me try something fun because I haven't done this in a long time. All right, let's do. Please make sure, and thank you to everybody who stopped by. Can you please make sure that you type hashtag YSL in the chat? There's quite a few people here, and just do it just for fun. Just something I hadn't tried this feature out in a while. So if you could, just like lovely lady did here, just type hashtag YSL. Something fun. It's not gonna hurt you, I promise you. If you've been keeping up with the case, if you've been keeping up with it, just put hashtag YSL. All right, let's see how it looks. Let's do it. All right, is it showing up on your side? Man, did it show? Is it showing you? Wait, why is it not showing you? Okay, I have a drawing, but it didn't show y'all the drawing, I don't think. Oh, crackers. What did it do wrong? Why is it not showing y'all? What's going on, Mike from White Label Consulting? Good to see you, brother. Grace and peace, friend. All right, somehow or another, it did not show y'all the. Hmm. All right, I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it again after we finish this next. Just type in YSL, and I don't know why it's not showing you all the. Or did it? Did it show it? It didn't. Okay. So you know what I'm talking about. So y'all don't think I'm just crazy here. Let me see. I don't know why I didn't do that. It's supposed to show you. All right. This is what it's supposed to have done. So I'll just do it over here. I don't know why I didn't show you before though. That was dope. All right. And then see, that's how it's supposed to work. So, all right. It's a feature I haven't used in a long time. So I'll bring it back. But I'll run it back. Don't you worry about it. We'll try it again. But I just want to see how it works. So I need some people to try it out. So thanks for helping me out. I appreciate you. Now, again, we're going to look at another one of these really interesting cases. So let me pull this one in. Stop that. Let me pull this one in. So we're looking at the Young Thug case. Mr. Williams, we're looking at the Young Thug case and all of the motions that have been filed related to that on today. There was a lot of motions that have been filed, and it's been crazy because the new judge has decided that she wants to make sure we get all of this wrangling and all this horse trading out of the way before they get back to court on Tuesday. So because of that, everybody had to file all their motions, all their everything, all filing of motions had to be done by today. They can hear motion, they can hear oral arguments for motions on Tuesday, but they want to get the jury back in on the next Monday. Now, there are motions for mistrials, there's motions for fair trial, there's motions to recuse. Well, I mean, there shouldn't have been any recusals, but there are a lot of different motions. So that's what we're going over. Just something fun to look at. And there's actually some good things that we got some fun. So I'll just close it up. I think I got it right. I might. It's pretty fair that I don't have it right. Let's see. Let's see. All right. Yeah, that's not bad, Jason. This one's really short, though. Praise God for a short one. All right. So, what is this, Jason? This is again, the state has responded. That's why I said this is called the state strikes back. This is the state's response to opposition to defendant's motion for correct ruling on self serving hearsay. Again, these are issues that have come up a little bit further there in the past, a little bit more, but they're still addressing them now, which is pretty weird. But apparently, this is common in law that you could have a motion and still be discussing it well after that motion was or that infraction was done. So let's go real quick because this one's not real long. Hopefully we'll be able to plow through it. And then I'm gonna play the song that someone made. It's actually pretty good. So let's go. Williams requests to the court to grant a blanket relief going forward on self-serving statement objections despite hearsay prosecutions prescriptions should be denied at this time. Moreover, Williams has made no offer of proof detailing how he can possibly satisfy any hearsay exemptions attendant to self-quotation evidence. The relief sought is not ripe for review or action by the court at this time, and therefore Williams' motion should be denied. So they usually start out with a pretty solid statement about where their stance is. I wouldn't expect her to say that motion should be accepted, so that makes sense. Argument and citation of authority. So she's going to say here, or the state is going to say here, whether or not they have the authority to move forward and whether or not they have citation or case law to support it. Let's go. Pursuant to legislative acts, hearsay has been redefined as a statement other than one made by the declarant while testifying at the trial or hearing, offered in evidence to prove the truth of a matter asserted. So, for example, if I heard that you were throwing gerbils, well, then that would be, and I testified, yeah, I heard that this person was throwing gerbils. I was told by somebody that they were throwing gerbils. That's all hearsay because I didn't hear it. I didn't see it. So therefore it was told by me. So it'd be hearsay. Got you. Let's see. A party may not introduce her or his own statement unless a hearsay exemption applies. Accordingly, self-serving statements where parties attempt to introduce their own prior statements absent from applicable hearsay exemptions are routinely determined inadmissible. I don't know what Young Thug said, though. That was the part I couldn't find. Like, I wasn't clear what was said initially to cause the hearsay, but it was just something I noticed. But let me keep going. From the hearsay rule by the federal rule of evidence, we already got that right there, or any other exemption and are thus inadmissible hearsay. In accord with rule, we got that right there, this court correctly prohibited Williams from eliciting self-serving hearsay self-quotation evidence. Hearsay is a statement other than one made by the declarant while testifying at the trial or hearing, offered in evidence to prove the truth of the matter asserted. Absent an exemption, hearsay is non admissible in trial. So again, I was told that this, that, and the other about that person. So again, it's not something that I saw. I'm just stating what I was told, or what was told to me rather. And so that makes sense. Okay. The burden is on the moving party to establish one of the hearsay exemption applies to admit the statement. And we understand that from Taylor versus State. Williams has not made any offer of proof demonstrating that Williams can satisfy any hearsay exemption applied, or that Williams is introducing an evidence for a non-hearsay purpose. Again, I wasn't certain where this came from, and I wasn't certain exactly what was said to be able to give the example, because I would love to even pull up the clip. So I wasn't able to find exactly what that was. If somebody does later on, I will gladly come back, because I don't know exactly what he said or what he was saying that would cause him to fall under this hearsay. So let us continue. The state, under the Georgia Code here, can introduce Williams' statements as admission by party opponent. However, this hearsay exemption does not extend to a party's attempt to introduce his or her own statements through the testimony of other witnesses. Like, yeah, right there, I don't know what he was saying, but we'll find out in a second, though. We'll look at it another way in a second. This court correctly sustains the state's objection to self-serving hearsay because Williams failed to address, much less overcome, his burden of proving a hearsay exemption applied to his self-serving, or rather self-quotating statement. Williams asserts he's primarily wants to introduce defendant Williams lyrics and solo and rather social media postings. Defendant Williams self-quotation of his own lyrics and social media postings are inadmissible hearsay. But it's him though. So I guess this is in the beginning because again, they are using rap lyrics in this trial as well. So I guess that's what this one was a little bit confusing. Like I said before, I didn't have the time to nail down exactly where this was coming from, but I will come back to it if we can in the future. Hold on one second. All right. Where did my page go? I tell you, man, I am a rookie over here. All right, conclusion. Williams has not proffered or otherwise made an offer of proof to demonstrate that any hearsay exemption applies to the self-quotation evidence Williams wishes to introduce. So they're saying his rap lyrics that he rapped in the studio are hearsay. Interesting. That's that's an interesting approach. I have no idea how that's going to work out, but let's go. Absent that, Williams merely seeks to inject rank hearsay into trial and denigration of binding Georgia and persuasive federal law. The state respectfully requests this honorable court deny Williams' motion and request for future relief because prior evidentiary rulings on this issue were in accord with the Georgia federal rules of evidence. Adrian Love. You know what? I kind of understand that, but this whole rap lyric thing, I'm very conflicted about it. I don't know where I land on whether or not rap lyrics should fall into they just seem like they're art to me. I totally get it. I've heard lots of people wrangle about this. So I'm not trying to be difficult, but I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, now I wish they weren't so self-incriminating. So I mean, you got that true. You got that as well, right? So anyway, thank y'all so much. Okay, I'm gonna try this one more time, see if this giveaway thing works. Why is it not showing up on the screen though? Some reason or another, I have a drawing, but it's not sharing it on the screen with y'all. I don't know why it's doing that. I just wanted to try it out. Okay, I'll come back to it. But in the meantime, I got something fun for you. So as I told you before, this case, the Young Thug case, has gone just way over the shark. It's well jumped over the shark, right? So, I mean, for crying out loud, we're sitting there reading motions from the court, right? But somebody did a rap song about it, and it's actually pretty good. So let me bring it in and let's check it out. I do. All right, shout out to Black Law Student. Appreciate you so much for bringing that to my attention. I appreciate you, brother. All right, let me try it real quick one more time on this drawing thing. I just want to see how it works. All right, so thank you so much. If you put in hashtag YSL, you were included in the drawing. And there we go. Rhonda's great. Okay, so I know this works. So moving forward, I know that we can get this back on. We can have some good fun with during the live stream, for example, doing a giveaway or something like that. So now we know. I just want to make sure it worked. Appreciate y'all for hanging in there with me. All right, real quick. What'd you think about the what did you think about that summary wrap of the YSL case? I think he did a pretty good job. I think he summarized a lot of it. I wouldn't have mind him giving a little bit of shout out to DA Love and DA Hilton. I think they needed a few bars as well. But oh, definitely. Yeah, I'm sorry. Definitely, congratulations, Rhonda. It was just something I wanted to try out. I need people to try it out, so I appreciate you. Very creative. I agree. I thought it summarized the case up to this point. I think it summarized it great, and I think it also points to some things that we probably believe as well. Like this case is probably going to be, it's probably going to be over next week. Let's be honest. If Judge Whitaker does what I think she's going to do, I said that I think she's going to, she's taking the time. She took all this week to kind of get herself up to speed, kind of understand what's going on. Everybody's dropping these motions today and such like that. And now I think she's gonna look over the weekend and be like, look, ain't nobody got time for this. And just go ahead and send this thing um, to the dumpster where it belongs. I mean, because it's been a dumpster fire since the beginning. Now, you did see that Thug was in a Cobb County jail. And I told you all earlier that Thug has stays here in Cobb County. Um, because again, I don't know if it's not safe in Fulton County, whatever. But he's been staying up here in Cobb, and then they ship him down there to Fulton County. So that's kind of wild. So I mean, Thug is right here, by not too far from Whitaker Park. What's up with that? What's up? Yeah, I think it's gonna be next case. I think she's gonna just let's go ahead and call it out because there's been so many instances where this case should have just gone ahead and we should have just gone and called this in. They should have just phoned this in. Now, speaking of somebody who did not phone it in, all right. Now, again, I had 7 motions when I at like 11 o'clock, okay, and called Black Law Student, and we decided, look, these are the most salient points. These are the ones that really hit the nail on the head. So we're not going to go through them all because like there's probably going to be about 20 before the day's over with. And I'm sure that's going to be part of the comedy for National YSL Motion Response Day is just how many of them actually come because there's just been so many. Now, one of them that I really don't think we should let slide by is Mr. Doug Weinstein. Now, if you remember on Wednesday or earlier this week when they filed motion, there was the gag order. Like, y'all stop talking to the people and y'all stop going before cameras and y'all stop coming on podcasts. Hey, Doug, holla at your boy. I got you. Okay. That was the idea was like, hey, you all can't, as defense attorneys, be on podcasts, be on blogs, talking to the news about this case. Well, there's a small problem with that. And I think you all know Fonnie Willis has talked about this case and she's done it quite a bit. I think, in my opinion, the defense has said more, but I don't think it's in volume or scale. It's just the fact that you've talked about it. So Fonnie Willis has talked about this case. She talked about the election interference case. So I don't think they have as much a leg to stand on. And guess what? Doug Weinstein says about that much. So let's pull Doug in. Doug Weinstein's motion, not actual Doug. But hey, Doug, for real, again, you want to holler at your boy? I'll gladly have you come on. I'd love to meet you and hear what you got to say. Love it. Let's see if I did this right. All right, let us go. Let us go. Let us go. All right, so this is Doug's response to the supposed gag order from earlier this week. State of Georgia versus DeMonte Kendrick. Kendrick's opposition to state's motion to restrict extrajudicial statements comes now, defended DeMonte Kendrick in the above style case in opposition to state's motion to restrict extrajudicial statements, showing the court the following. Everyone is in favor of free speech. Hardly a day passes without it's being extolled. But some people's idea of it is that they are free to say what they like. But if anyone says anything back, that is an outrage. Sir Winston Churchill. I think that was pretty savage. But it's going to get worse. Don't you worry about that. I think if we decide to admit your crimes over a beat, I'm sorry. I think if you decide to admit your crimes over a beat, I'm going to use it. I'm not targeting anyone. You do not get to commit crimes in my county and then get to decide to brag on it, which you do that for a form of intimidation and to further to gain and to not be held responsible. This is from the Honorable Fonnie Willis, Fulton County District Attorney, press conference, August 29th, 2022. So what Doug is doing here is pointing out that Fonnie has talked to the news. Why can't I talk to the news? And he's going to show further, and he's going to show more of this as well. Like, look, you get to talk to the press, you get to talk to the public about this case. We get to as well. Free speech for me, but not for thee, is the current position advocated by the Fulton County District Attorney. This should not be surprising to anyone that has paid attention to the present case over the last 19 months of trial. The state would apparently like the present, or rather, would like the present trial to be conducted in secret, with proceedings happening in hidden chambers outside of prying eyes of the press or the public. The state repeatedly sought the secreting. Why is it looking like that? Okay, the secreting of which is being streamed today to the public, which I do think is pretty interesting. This is one of the few cases that is not every court in America streams. So there's some states, like New York, you don't get to stream. And I think that's really interesting. I mean, it's good and it's bad. I don't know if we want all cases to be streamed or we want them to not be streamed, or all to be televised and others not to be, or all not to be televised. I don't know, but Georgia's one of those places. And I don't know if it's on the judge or the state or whomever to decide that. So it's just interesting. Just a little caveat. To the extent there are any remarks not specifically in the public record, which statements are generally remarks intended to demonstrate that Kendrick should not be on trial. Justice Kennedy rightly understood the present situation that Kendrick and his co-counsels, or rather his counsel, find themselves in. Kennedy wrote this: an attorney's duties do not begin inside the courtroom door. He or she cannot ignore the practical implications of a legal proceeding for the client. An attorney may take responsible steps to defend a client's reputation and reduce the adverse consequences of indictment, especially in the face of prosecution deemed unjust or condemned with their improper motives. A defense attorney may attempt to demonstrate in the court of public opinion that the client does not deserve to be on trial. That's it right there. I mean, I don't know much more. I didn't think there needed to be much more after that, truth be told. I thought Doug crushed it right there. Like, look, this is his job. His job is to make you see his client as just a human, to see his client and to understand that his client should not be tried, should not be in this courtroom at all. Justice Kennedy also correctly notes, I do find it funny when they're writing about somebody that they agree with, they always extol them as doing the right thing. Justice Kennedy rightly notes here. Judge Whitaker correctly discusses here. I just think that's hilarious. All right. Justice Kennedy also rightly notes that the police and prosecution, other government officials, and community at large hold innumerable avenues for the dissemination of information adverse to the client, rather the criminal defendant. By contrast, the defendant cannot speak without fear of incriminating himself and prejudicing his defense, and most criminal defendants have insufficient means to retain public relations teams apart from the defense counsel for the sole purpose of countering prosecution statements. Okay. So again, Weinstein is just pointing out here that the only person that can speak on behalf of the client, the only person that can speak on behalf of the accused is defense, is the defense counsel. Finishing this up, Kennedy, he didn't say rightly here, Kennedy cites the important role that defense counsel plays in educating the public on pending cases in writing. Because attorneys participate in the criminal justice system and are trained in its complexities, they hold unique qualifications as a source of information about pending cases. Since lawyers are considered credible in regard to pending litigation in which they are engaged and are in one of the most knowledgeable positions, they are a crucial source of information and opinion. To the extent the press and public rely upon attorneys for information because attorneys are well informed, this may prove the value to the public of speech by members of the bar. If the dangers of their speech arise from a persuasiveness, from their ability to explain judicial proceedings, or from the likelihood of speech, or from the likelihood the speech will be believed, these are not the sort of dangers that can validate restrictions. The First Amendment does not permit suppression of speech because of its power to command assent. Let's go. Let's finish this up. I love it. Doug is not playing any games with them at all. This is the exact situation that Kendrick and his counsel find themselves in today. Kendrick is a public figure who is an artist. He writes records. He writes, records, and performs rap music and lyrics. In Fulton County, this makes Kendrick a target of the state. Kendrick is allowed to take responsible steps to protect his reputation, and those steps may be taken by the council rather than through the public relations team firm. Basically, he's saying that, look, I'm his PR guy. I'm speaking on behalf of my client, which I mean, I think a zealous and a zealous advocate is necessary. So I definitely don't see any problem with that at all. But let's finish this up. Let's go. Having smeared Kendrick and his reputation, sorry about that, and his reputation, the state wants to silence him, initially by placing a burden on his free speech rights to write about the world in which he lives and tragedies that he's and injustices around him. And now by holding press conferences denouncing him and his writing, while subsequently seeking to bar him from defending himself in the court of public opinion. So they said, look, you're saying that he can't speak publicly, but you speak publicly. He can't address what you say publicly, but you can continue. Then you can say, you can quash his ability to do so, or my ability as Judge Weinstein, not Judge Weinstein, Doug Weinstein, lawyer Weinstein is saying there. I got you. While the state has unfortunately been successful in impermissibly burdening the free speech of Kendrick by limiting his present and future writing, the state should not be allowed to bar him from defending his reputation. Wherefore, Kendrick prays for the court to deny the state's motion respectfully submitted. And that is it. This is going to be crazy. I love it. I think Doug Weinstein did a great job of explaining it. And I agree with him. I think he should be able to share what he believes and where he is. If they're able to do it, and Fonnie Willis can say, hey, your rap lyrics are problematic, then I think Doug and the rest of the team should be able to do the same thing and be able to say, like, hey, this is not fair. This is not right. I think that is a very reasonable request. So we'll see. So on Tuesday, Judge Whitaker is supposed to come out and start hearing these motions, ruling on these motions, and such like that. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there's still more motions that are going to be dropped. But also, if I'm not mistaken, she can address this right now. If she decided to, she could probably just call them in and say, hey, Some of this stuff is going to be not going to even be addressed, but I'm not 100% certain on that. But Tuesday is going to be the day for sure. Let's see what we got in here. Good people. I see lots of good folk in here hanging out. Thank you so much. I will make sure that as the day goes by, I'll load up and put all of these motions. If you want to read them, I'll make sure that they're in the description for this video. Yeah, and Fonnie's asking for a mulligan for sure. And I think as I read the motion, because she the mistrial motion, I really believe that that's what they're doing. When I said that they were sabotaging their own effort, I do believe that they're trying to get a redo. They just didn't. I don't know why, but it doesn't seem like they're well prepared for this. And just my little 2 cent observation. I agree, man. There's some stealing, some lying going on. There's some shenanigans happening over there in Fulton County. Lots of good commentary, lots of good family reunion going on over there. Thank you all so much. What's going on, Mike? Mike, are you still here? I don't think Mike is still here. I'm sorry, I didn't see that. But yeah, I would love to hear what you all think about it. So feel free, add your 2 cents in there. I'm gonna drop this link in the chat. I got a few minutes. I'd love you want to jump through. You're welcome to jump in. I do ask that one thing, because we haven't done this in a while either. I do ask for one thing, that you keep your camera on, that we keep our conversation above board. So no profanity, all that kind of good jazz. And let's stay on the topic. We're going to talk about YSL. We can talk a little bit about Fulton County because it's, it must be stopped as well. But I did drop the link in there for you, Mike, if you want to hop on. I'd be happy to have you come on. I just think he texted me. Okay. All right. So, got you. President Firstborn is at the mall. Y'all know that she's a new driver. So she's out driving today. And she went to the mall. So she and her friend are going to go get lunch, she said. So, yeah. So I'm just checking out what she's saying there. Oh, you don't have a camera? I'm sorry then. I'll let you come on retired. Come on. I know who you are. They forgot the meat in the meatloaf. Yeah, I feel sorry for them, because it does seem like, sadly, this is these men's lives that are hanging in the balance, and the way that they're going about it really does not seem to be as well prepared, and dare I say, as professional as they would like to present it. It seems, again, I would be very, very nervous if I knew that my life was in these people's hands, and this is how they're carrying on and prosecuting this case. It is pretty interesting, to say the least. So what we got? What is going on? There he is, Big Willie Jones, founder of the Chaotic Podcast Takes. What's up, brother?
What's cracking lacking? What's going on with you?
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mike from White Label Consulting, a great friend of the channel. He's been a supporter from early on. And he's if you are getting into podcasting or wanting to do podcasting and whatnot like that, he does a great job. He's out there in Phoenix. He does a lot of fixing and such like that, making your lights look right, all that kind of good jazz. But what you got, man? What's happening, my brother?
None, man. Here at the studio, just getting stuff in. You know how it go.
I love it. The Chaotic Truth Podcast.
Facts, my guy. Yeah, that's what's up. So you covering this YSL thing again? And,
man, this YSL case is crazy. Man, it's right down the street, around the corner from a house, man. I can't.
My man dropped a fire song. I thought the song was pretty dope. You know what I mean?
Right, there you go.
Yeah. I don't think this case is gonna go longer than 2 hours on whenever they resume. Tuesday. It should be over. It should be over by Tuesday. It was case started at 8. It should be over by 8:15. You know, all of these motions are retarded. Are not only get your channel straight. I don't know how YouTube etiquette. They're on the spectrum. How's that? So for anybody offended, they're on the spectrum. yeah, then we can just move on. When are they going to throw Fanny in jail or do something with her? Like, can we move on? Because they're about to try to pull a black girl magic with anyone black, and it's going to do black girl magic while Kamala is running.
Okay,
So
watch
yeah,
this. Let me add a little bit of complexity then. So Tuesday is when this hearing is heard, right?
facts.
Why is Kamala coming in Tuesday afternoon?
Well, she's coming in Tuesday afternoon because she has absolutely nothing to run on. They should essentially name her strategic running theme is we're running on air. You know what I mean? Because there's nothing there. You know what I'm saying? The air not up there. I don't
The
know.
air is not
There's not.
there.
Yeah. So
So
she's going to capitalize on anything that has to do with black girl magic, and it's magic. We're Christians, we don't believe in magic anyway, so there you go.
there you go. What's up, man?
I don't know. Hopefully
So
they'll move on from this YSL case and actually do some damage to Fonnie so they can move on. They're just trying to stall. That's all they're doing. They're stalling out. They're trying to use any melanated advantage they can use for the race or anything that happens. Like, that's what's going on.
no, I agree with you 100%. So some people theorize that Harris is coming to tap Fonnie to be VP.
Are you serious?
I mean, hey,
That'd be the
let's be
worst
honest.
move.
Let's be honest. Hold on. Everybody in the chat, just type what year we're in. Okay, we are in year 2024. There's nothing that's crazy right now. Okay, let's just stop. Nothing's
So
crazy.
here's what we talked about at the studio. We talked about that there might be even now this is really far reaches. You threw a weird lob out there. I'll toss a weird lob out. There are people in my job that believe that they are simply prepping up Kamala just to surprise Michelle Obama as a candidate. That's what there are people at my job that believe that they're Democrats. They believe the only way that they can beat Trump is with Michelle Obama. And so they're basically hyping up the black girl, brat girl magic train to actually say this is the way we're going. But what we're going to do is we're going to slide another one in there, right? And they believe these are Democrats, these are leftists. Let me say, they're a little bit more liberal than I am. They believe that Michelle Obama, and one guy calls her Big Mike. Sorry, YouTube. That she's going to be the one that they slide into the nomination because that's the only effort they have to beat Trump.
The only issue with that is that the Obamas endorsed Kamala this morning.
That doesn't mean anything. They endorsed Joe Biden 4 weeks ago. I mean,
that's a good point.
That is a good point.
Means nothing. Politics is one of those things where you don't have to be consistent more than 2 hours. You can change your viewpoint. You can change your viewpoint every 3 hours and just be a solid politician in the eyes of the public. Because the same person 2-3 years ago, the same person that said Trump was violent, right? Maxine Waters was the same person that said when you find a conservative in a public restaurant, go harass them until they leave.
She did say that.
So it's yeah. They can say whatever they want. They can say we endorse Kamala. I mean, the Political report came out that the DNC had been trying to get Joe Biden out of office since October 2021. They had a meeting where he was incoherent 3 years ago, and Nancy Pelosi and them have been trying to oust him since then. So there's nothing solid in politics. It's a water-based job. You flow with whatever cup you're in. And so, yeah, they can say whatever they want. They can put a frog up there and Obama said, "Oh, yo, this is a very good president. President Ribbit, come here." That's what they would do.
I love
that's what it is.
No, I did not want to turn this into conspiracy hour. We'll save that for the 5th hour of the show. We'll save all conspiracies for the 5th hour of the podcast. But
can I
so
ask
now
a
we know
YSL question? I'm sorry.
Say again.
Can I ask a YSL question?
Absolutely. Let's go.
Okay, so I came in at the very tail end of all this. So let me ask, what do y'all think? Is he guilty?
It is very possible that they probably are not pure as a driven snow.
Okay.
I would not be surprised that they were involved in something that was
Okay.
probably criminal. Problem is, my thoughts on it and what I perceive are not the standard. It is whether or not they're able to be proven. And my opinion is, if this were a clean case, and I've said this before, if this were a clean case, then Fonnie and team would have come out of the gate with the guns blazing, saying, this person did it. Like, literally, if you go back and listen to her opening statement, she's reading a poem. She's talking about where the wild things are. It is lyrical wandering. It is just
What?
verbal wandering. You're like, if you knew that this person was guilty, I would say, Big Willie Jones is a low down, rotten, dirty gerbil thrower. I'm about to prove it. Sit down and watch. It was nothing like that. And so I don't think they actually had a case. Second reason, this case has been the actual murder happened in like 2014, 2015.
Yeah, it was a
That
long
was
time
under
ago.
that was under DA Paul Howard. So a good question that you might ask yourself is, if it was so serious, why did Paul Howard not prosecute it? Paul Howard knew that this was not a good case. That's why Paul Howard never prosecuted it. But once Fonnie got in, she said she gonna prosecute this case come hella high water, and look where we are now. So if it were a clean case, you would have come in there and proven it. I mean, please understand, they've been in there 19 months and they haven't proven anything. For crying out loud, Woody got me thinking I did it. Okay. And then second of all, if it were a good case, Paul Howard would have done it before this, and you would have inherited it or whatever. But again, and I think the last point that I would make is the motion that said that they goaded them into asking for a mistrial. I think that is part and part the final reason why I think, yeah, they're trying to get a mistrial so they can start again. So if the defense asks for the mistrial and they get that without prejudice, they can come back again in 6 months. So those are my three reasons. Again, they're not hard and fast, but there we go.
But not
Yeah,
being.
if it were clear, if it were a clear and cut case, you know, and take this with a grain of salt. Miss Mandy. Okay. I have watched enough of the court cases, at least the overviews, and this is going to be a very wild take I'm about to say, is that even when you deal with other legal aspects, the confidence of your opening statement and your presentation of your evidence is a key into how we perceive the case. Like, this case is like almost a circus at this point. We're dealing with a whole lot of other stuff. You know, I think that you're saying that the motions are going crazy, and then
I see that.
The judge, all the improprieties. Like, this case is gone wackier than the Trump case with the 34 made up felonies. Like, that was almost the confidence that they went in with. You knew he was going to find him guilty from the beginning, simply because they had a problem against him. And you know, that's just my opinion. But if you look at how they proceeded against him versus how this case has gone, this is almost a comedy series at this point. The amount of documents and everything. And so, you know, at this point, it's kind of not putting the positive. Like, by the time the new judge gets in, what are you doing? You're having to review all of the mess ups and everything that happened before then. So as a prosecution, you're almost starting over. Like, you're almost having to answer all of these questions and stuff that should have been presented in the first week of the case. So in my opinion, the case is shaky. Prosecution is shaky. There's too many doubts. There's too many things. Like, you almost have to mess this case up and start over. But by then, you already cast in public doubt. So I just think that the judge should throw it out at this point. I mean, how long has my man been how my man been locked up? Like, I mean,
almost 2 years.
You've been locked up almost 2 years with no freedom.
So he's been locked up this whole time?
They've been locked up. They haven't had bond. Yeah, so that was another motion, a motion for bond. So if she doesn't grant a mistrial, she almost has to grant them bond.
One of the
at least let them make a reasonable bond so they can go home. So there's a lot of back and forth. I agree. I think the case is 100% trash, and I don't think it actually. Again, if it were a clean case, it would have been easy to understand. Little Johnny walked down the street, threw the gerbil at Sally, case closed. Everybody understands it. We got the tapes, we got the eyewitnesses, we got the testimony, we got the confession. That's it. Again, go back and pull up ADA Love's opening statement. It is the wildest thing I've ever heard. And again, I'm a pre-K law student, so I don't know anything, but it is wild. It's wild. But
and I've watched 1,000 episodes of Law and Order, so I'm almost like a pre-K law student.
Bruh, come on, man.
I mean? So yeah, I've watched that, Blue Bloods, all of them.
I was going to say I've seen every episode of Blue Bloods.
You got to get suits in there. If you get suits in, you're good. You solid. You solid.
Yeah. So I'm
pre-K.
I'm like pre-K law.
Well, pre-K plus.
That's what I am.
Pre-K max.
That's what I am.
Oh, okay. But for real, I might kick y'all off. Jacqueline, I would love for you, if you would, Jacqueline, if you're interested, I would absolutely unequivocally love for you to come on and tell me about.
Don't kick me off for that. I'll pay you to stay.
I gotta kick you off. I gotta put you in the penalty box. I would love, if you would like to, Jacqueline, I would love to hear why
hear this too.
Your stance on this. So if you're willing, I'm dropping the link again. I would absolutely, unequivocally, respectfully like to hear what you have to say about that.
I'm sorry, that was funny though. She said it can't even.
No. I want you to come on and talk about it. I would love to hear you talk about. Hear me, please hear me. No joke, no joke. I'm putting you. No joke. You are welcome to come on and we can talk about it. And I would love to hear your again, please. And I'm not even being funny. I would love to hear. If you are willing, I'm making room for you. You can jump on and we can respectfully have a great conversation.
Jacqueline, that was funny though.
No, I'm serious, because I don't want people to think that, hey, look, this is not an echo chamber. I'm not just here. I am willing and able and more than a big boy enough to be confronted with my thought processes if I'm wrong. So I want to, that's fine. So absolutely.
I've changed my name to Secondary Emotion.
Right. Absolutely. You are welcome. I'm not even joking.
Yeah, he's not the type of person that's going to come at you, Jacqueline.
But
he won't.
Yeah.
Look, I'm trying to make sure everybody knows. Look, I'm dead serious. I'm not going to have nobody jump out and surprise you. No jump scares or anything like that. But hey, if you really want to talk about it, then you're welcome to talk about it. I want to hear. I mean, again, there's no shame. I want to hear, because again, it is very possible, Jacqueline. It's extremely possible that you and I could have a discussion and you will change my perspective on this matter. You will have me going to go buy the pearls and to buy the chucks and all of that stuff. And I'll pantsuit it on November 5th. You might convince me, but I want to hear your rationale. Vinyls. I'm sorry?
Some jazz vinyls.
Oh, yeah. Oh, come on, man. Because these are classics and I just went and bought them. Shh. Nobody was supposed to recognize that.
I would like to hear this too.
So Kamala Harris was last year. It wasn't recent, but last year she was buying vinyl albums at a black record store in DC, East DC. And of course the news is there. And she has some solid records, no question there. I think the problem most people had was like, wait, she says that these are really good albums. You're buying vinyl. That's really niche. Most people now are good with, most people will just, go to Spotify or go to YouTube Music. Like, you're buying vinyl. Why are you buying it now if it's a classic? You should already have it.
Right.
Like, I mean, Pilgrim's Progress is a classic. I got like 4 copies right here. Okay. I'm not buying. If I buy another one, it's because I just want to do the most. No, Jacqueline. No, Jacqueline. I'm not being funny at all. My name is Jason, dearwokec@gmail.com. I done kicked everybody off. This could be me and you. We'll play the Just Me and You by Tony. I want to hear your perspective. And again, I'm willing to hear. I'm not an echo chamber. I'm not just going to come off the top rope. I want to hear, and I'll mute my doggone self. I'll do this. Watch this. I'll quiet my own self. I'm serious. I'm dead serious. As sure as my name is Jason, you are welcome to come on, dear. Absolutely. Because, or if you want to call a friend or whatever, I don't care. I just want to hear why it is that I should vote in that perspective. I want to understand it. Because again, I am willing to accept that I might not understand something. For crying out loud, I came on here to call myself a pre-K law student, says I don't know anything. Like my pre-K sensei is right here, a black law student. He makes sure I don't say anything crazy. So anyway, yeah, I'm dead serious. You are welcome. I'm gonna drop the link again, Jacqueline, please. I'm not even trying to be funny. There's a link right there. And let me bring back them that keeps getting dissed. Y'all like, man, what in the world's going on here? Dude, bruh, come on, man.
Black law
Sometimes we gotta do
student
that.
said you might have to go to this Chicago DNC.
Hey, I might have to go to DNC. I'm not going to DNC. I'm not going to
Hey,
Chicago.
you don't know what she's
You
gonna
should
say.
though, bro.
You might be buying a ticket tomorrow. You don't know.
Let me
Yeah,
tell
when
you.
is it?
Let me tell you.
Like 2 weeks?
Say again.
2 weeks? It's in 2
Yeah,
weeks,
I got
isn't
2
it?
weeks. I'm not going to DNC.
You gonna get the puppy paint and make you one of them Kamala signs.
You're right, Jack. Oh, now Jackie could don't waste time dropping the link. Okay, not a problem. Not a problem. Let it be known, let it be said. I wanted to get the knowledge. I wanted the understanding but you chose not to. It's all good. It is perfectly fine. If you want to shoot me an email, dearwokec@gmail.com. If you want to schedule another time, we can do that. We can do that if you want to pass it on to somebody else. It's all good. I am not afraid to have my ideas and thoughts challenged. So, and I'm sure, if you would come here to my channel and put, Kamala Harris for president, then that probably means that you yourself are not, you seem to be pretty solid in your own beliefs and such like that. So you could probably tell me why Kamala Harris for president. That would be like revelation knowledge for us all. You might, who knows? You could have swayed 39, 40 votes. Who knows?
More on the replay.
I mean, we're all open. But anyway.
All right. Well, let's move on then. So
the on is moved.
Yeah. So since the subject has been brought up, I had this discussion also with the people at my job, is that they weren't, I don't want to say they weren't aware. They did not really, and I don't know if anybody has ever covered this, they did not really understand what the idea of a conservative versus a liberal thought process was. They assume all conservatives are Republican and all liberals are Democrat, but they didn't even have an idea of what the differences of thought were, which really sparked the conversation, because most of them who claimed that they were a little bit more left-leaning, actually, when you started talking about basic conservative values, they was like, oh, I must be conservative. I'm like, yeah, you are conservative, because that doesn't make you a Republican. That's not going to say it makes you a Republican.
Right.
But that does make you right-leaning. That makes you center of right. That doesn't make you right-wing. That doesn't make you, and I think definitions are being tossed around, and they're not being explained. And then you produce, I think on both sides, you produce ignorance. And so somebody, I sent you a screenshot of the comment section of a very popular melanated talk show where everybody was saying, I'm just going to vote whoever is put up on the left. I'm voting for them without any without any assurance that they would do any research, that they would look into policies, that they would look into belief systems, none of that. And so I think even with it coming up, just having this basic conversation, I'm not going to vote for one candidate. Why? I don't have to tell you, or I just how I feel. I'm not going to answer you. I think
I can't say that I really know the difference. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I can't say that I really know the difference, honestly. I just noticed that you changed your name to stop removing me, though.
Yes,
that's really
funny. Please stop removing me. Let me ask you. Let me ask you 3 questions. I'm going to ask you 3 questions. Do you what are the? And I'm trying to ask it without. I'm trying to ask it without leaning towards an answer. Okay, how do you feel about border security for the United States?
I think that it should be very solid and strong, and that it should be guarded heavily.
Okay. How do you feel about the government's involvement in personal life, business, and just all overall? How much should the government be involved?
Personal life, like abortion and stuff.
No, just
Like that?
period. Like how do they affect your like if you're self-employed, your
Mm.
taxes, your all these different things. Like how much influence should the government have in your business? And you can include personal things in that as well.
Not as much as they are.
And what is your view on marriage?
Marriage is between a man and a woman.
You're conservative. That's the conservative test. That doesn't make you Republican, but those are the three. And if somebody in the chat would like to correct me as what, because I'm not a political pundit, but just independent research, those are like the three basic ideas of what conservatives believe: strong family system, limited government, and they're tight on border security. Those are it.
The only other thing,
the only other one if you come here legally, I'm fine with you being here.
Economics. There's another
economics.
Just
they want a strong economy.
Strong economy. But yeah, I mean,
but that goes hand in hand with the government with the government interference. It's limited government, strong economy. Because if you have limited government and you have a weak economy, then that doesn't no good, because now you're both doing bad. But that's the conservative test. That's not saying you're Republican or Democrat. If you believe in those three things, that you're basically have a conservative mindset. Your conservative mindset,
which just means you kind of lean either way, is what you're saying.
You lean more. You would be more, in my opinion, and anybody can correct me because we're just commentating here. You would lean more towards a right-leaning thought process, because now when you start getting into other topics, you'll find that will determine how far right you will lean, or maybe you'll lean more back towards center. So if you do get into issues like abortion, if you do get into issues about crime, if you do get into issues about economics and structural and race, then those, in my opinion, those topics will influence how far right you lean, or if you're just barely right and you really lean left of center, but you have conservative viewpoints. But those four areas: a strong economy, limited government, a traditional family household, and also what you feel on the security of the country, those are all basic conservative principles that anyone that you can ask, and they would say, well, I'm not conservative. Well, here's 4 questions. Let me know. If you believe a man can marry a horse, you're not conservative. This is what it is. I don't care what you feel about everything else. If you feel a toad and
don't talk about my ex-husband's wife like that. That's not very nice.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Shots fired. Where's the sound effects?
You
don't have no shots. You don't have no shots.
No sound effects.
I'm just teasing.
Shots fired. I hope he didn't see this, because we think your wife was pretty no matter what she says she looked like. Anyway,
sure we do.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just teasing.
I'm trying to be Christian, y'all. I'm really
I'm just teasing.
Y'all wild, man.
We actually get along great. I'm just teasing.
So at the end of the day, I think to a certain degree, a level of research is done on both.
He keeps freezing up. It's messing with
freezing. He's in Phoenix, so it's so hot there. The Wi-Fi be like melting. So I think his Wi-Fi melting.
Yeah,
he's looking. I'm gonna screenshot that look real quick though. I'm gonna make a thumbnail out of
it. Let me play around with something. I'll send it to you.
I'll send it to you. Don't worry about it. I just went ahead and I'm gonna pull him out. Wait to see he thaws out. It looks like he's frozen. But no, he was cooking. He was cooking. Sadly, he's in Phoenix, so he's probably being cooked in Phoenix.
Has Young Thug been in jail since 2021?
No, whenever this started, whenever they arrested him, don't quote me on this. We're in 2024. I want to say they arrested him in like the beginning of 2022. I could be wrong. I don't know that emphatically, but yeah, he's been in jail for all that time.
Oh wow!
Without bond. So somebody mentioned it earlier. Like if the police officer in Illinois gets bond, but they don't get bond, like what is that? Like what's going on there? Whether or not you believe that the police officer that shot the woman was right or wrong is not the point. If he gets bond, I'm trying to find somebody. Somebody said it, but if he gets bond, well, why can't Young Thug get bond? And yeah, so anyway, that's yeah, I don't see it. And I saw it earlier. Somebody did mention it, but yeah, he's been in there for a good little minute. And at this point, it does look like they don't know what they're doing. It looks like it's mishandled. You're kind of feeling bad for him. So yeah, that's it. That's where we are.
I wouldn't agree that our votes don't count. I think our votes count.
Yeah, I'm not willing to say that they don't count, but your vote counts if you hit that like button. Look, now nobody removed you this time, man. Nobody removed you. So
The
don't
internet
blame
went.
us.
I don't know what happened.
I told you, y'all internet, man, it's too hot in Phoenix,
we've been
man.
having no. As a serious joke, Comcast has been going out all over the city for the last month. So I don't know what's going on, but in Arizona, like Phoenix in general, I have a little app. It's been going out all over the city, and we don't have a lot of other providers out here. We got CenturyLink, which is fast, but you have to go with Verizon or T-Mobile, which are insanely expensive and they have cap. So it just went out again. I'm sitting in the studio here, and the whole building just went out for a second. So I don't know what happened. Is that Jacqueline calling you?
No, nobody calling. She, I gave Jacqueline an opportunity, man. She could jump in, man. I'll kick y'all out here so fast, yeah.
That's Kamala calling, saying you wrong.
Right. Because Kamala's reaching out to black men to, trying to shore up the vote. So that might have been her. So let me just real quick.
Van Jones said we'll protect Kamala and we will not see election out.
Van Jones said what?
On the phone with 20,000 at the same time. Said that black men will protect Kamala Harris. He said he had a phone call last week with 20,000 men at the same time, and they all talked about protecting Kamala Harris.
Okay, well, y'all go ahead and do that. Yeah, y'all do that. I hope that works out for you. So,
I mean, I wasn't on the phone call.
I wasn't on the phone call. But please, I think some of the languaging, is reckless. Protect Kamala, as if, like, why not just say we're gonna vote for Kamala? Like, why are you saying words like
because he
protect? Because Van Jones is an emotional man. But go ahead.
Because he feels like the attack on Kamala is going to be her color and her race, even though she's running as a black woman. So your main characteristic that you're running on, you don't want anybody to comment on that. That's essentially what he's saying, and that black men are not going to sit by idly and let Donald Trump attack Kamala Harris.
Well, I got a better one for him. I was just gonna. This is a question I've been asking, and I'm gonna propose it out there as well. Feel free to type in the chat. What is one accomplishment that Kamala Harris has achieved in the last 48 months, last 4 years, that you see as being justified for her not only getting a contract extension, but a promotion from her current role? What is the one achievement that you point to and say, yes, this is what I'm pointing to as your example of that? I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you did see her dance with the marching band, right?
I don't know if that's I don't know what will that do for the economy? What will that do for Putin? What will that do for the border to see you dancing with the marching band? I don't know. I just want to know. So Van Jones is welcome to come on. All of them. I just want to know what is the accomplishment that you're looking at? Because in order for you to get promotion on your job, in order for you to get a contract extension, if you're in a situation like that, you have to show evidence of progress or evidence of at least meeting the standards or evidence of achieving the goal or whatever. What is the evidence that Kamala Harris can point to and say, this is why you're going to hire me for another 4 years? And matter of fact, you can give me a promotion.
I honestly didn't know of anything that she had done at all.
But I want people that support her to just tell me, because maybe I'm missing something. Maybe we don't look under the right rock, or maybe we don't have the right tea leaves to read and such of that nature. So I want them to explain, like, help me understand, what is it?
The silence is so deafening that I thought I heard the dogs on the back of Miss Mandy's wall bark. That's what I just thought. I just thought I heard them bark because the silence after you asked that question, because I don't.
And let me go ahead. You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and cause trouble. My name is Jason, dearwokec@gmail.com. I don't know. I don't want y'all to get canceled. So I might even put y'all in the back. This is another reason why Michelle Obama can't run. She doesn't have anything to run on. So yeah, sure, she's Michelle Obama. Sure, she's going to get a lot of black women running after her. But the problem is, not every black woman is going to support her. Y'all really don't think. Sadly, people look at the electorate, and I'm gonna bring up that comment about the Electoral College in a second. Y'all kind of forgot that black people are only 13% of the population. If every single black person voted for Kamala Harris, she would still lose. So you're not using equal weights and measures. So you can't sit there and say, oh, well, because there's going to be a lot of excitement about a particular candidate, or because this person is going to be able to garner a lot of, that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't, because again, that doesn't work like that. Now, back to my point, in the current state that we're in right now, a lot of people realize that we are in some deep, deep soup. So just hiring and tacking on somebody only because of their ethnicity or their phenotype is a really bad look.
How is that not racist and xenophobic?
I have no idea. I don't know how the game is played. That's why I keep saying, like, I don't know how to play this game.
If I went into let's just say if I went into an all Japanese establishment and they say, hey, we need to hire a host, right? And the response is, we need to hire a white man to stand at the door. I'm taking out the what I would call dog whistle terms. How would that not be considered as a somewhat racially insensitive comment to all the Japanese people standing in the room? Like, what's a Japanese restaurant? Why do we got to hire a white male to work here? And now flip the script. If it was an all white establishment and they say we need to fire a black woman, flip the script. It was an all black establishment and they say we need to hire a Mexican woman. Like, how are these statements where you're actually leading with the adjectives and not the qualifications not wrong? I don't care what color you put in there. So the fact that they are all saying we're going to put the first black woman in president, and then you can't name any of your accomplishments, well, you know you're being racist. I'm absolutely not being racist. I actually ignored your adjectives to get down to the nitty gritty. What is your resume? What have you done in 4 years? What have you done as a DA? What have you done in California? What have you done, period? List an accomplishment that we can say, you know what, that will improve our country. Because
matter of fact, actually, truth be told, I don't care about anything she's done before she became VP. I'm just like, just stick right here in the last 4 years. And you find it interesting. People arguing about what she did as a prosecutor. You do realize that was better than a decade ago, right? We don't care about that. I want to know what she did last week that's going to justify me hiring her for another 48 months. What is it? I don't care what she did. If she did smoke weed and laughed about it, but then threw people in jail, that's inconsistent. But all of us are inconsistent. That's why we need Christ. But what does she do right now, since she's been in DC, not as a senator, that you would say, this is why I'm hiring her? And I'm gonna keep that question out there until it's over. But I don't think anybody's answering it. What is she doing? What has she done?
Right.
I don't think I'm actually going to bite the bullet and go to Google and put Kamala Harris accomplishments, and I'm going to ignore the first 3 links because those are going to be sponsored.
I actually have the article already. It's from my Sunday show.
Okay, well, I mean, I skipped over the White House Gov link and the Britannica link, and then the third link is always sponsored. So those are going to be
there. We watch YouTube answered it. She fired a lot of staff.
Oh, that's outstanding. Thank you.
She fired what staff did she fire? I'm asking genuinely.
No, yeah, I don't know, but
dozens of staff.
Yeah, article 55 things you should know about Kamala Harris. None of these are political.
Right. What are the accomplishments? Because I'm not campaigning for. Go ahead.
Her well, no, that doesn't count. That was when she was a prosecutor. They have one of the accomplishments listed as friendship with Barack Obama.
She did what?
That one of her accomplishments listed on this article is that she's friends with Barack Obama.
Okay. See. Okay. I mean, this is what y'all running on.
Let me not say accomplishment. These are 55 things you should know about her. It says she has the inconsistent stance on healthcare. During the campaign, she shied away from any a lot of what is it saying? Specific topics about her career as a prosecutor. Yeah, nothing here. She likes to cook. Here's her favorite books. She wakes up at 6 a.m. in the morning.
She makes collard greens.
As a tough boss. Yes.
And she cooks collard greens, y'all.
So this is 55 things you need to know about her. And then it concludes with, if elected, she will be the first African-American woman. She's not African, she's Jamaican. Sorry, I'm not trying to be mean, but there's a difference. She was led with her Indian descent most of her career. Her motto is, you may be the first, but make sure you're not the last.
So here are 10 things from Time Magazine. And this was from my Sunday show. So I just want to pull it up since we're already here causing problems today. I'm just going to scan through them very quickly. And I would like you to tell me which one of these topics or areas or this is Time Magazine trying to repackage Kamala Harris. I just want y'all to look at these. I'm just going to scan through them. Don't say anything. I just want y'all to give me, at the end, I would like you to tell me how many of these things are really, truly dinner table, Main Street issues. Okay, let us go. Here we go. First thing, the deletion of little people. That's her stance. I mean, that's what they want to tell you about. Then artificial intelligence. I guess whatever we saw with Biden the other day. Then China. Climate change. Crime. Okay, crime.
Okay, is that under the VP, or
these are things that she's done or discussed, but none of them are under VP, by the way. Most of these are before, but I'm just saying, like, these are the topics that they want to point out and highlight for her. And I just have questions. Gun control. Economy, taxes, and inflation. Immigration. Israel-Hamas war. Alphabet community rights. The Ukraine war. Voting rights. All right.
What does it say about voting rights?
She led something about voting rights in 2022. So the reason I want to point these out, because I'm gonna go over them on Sunday, on my Sunday show. Make sure you follow me for the Sunday show. How many of these are really truly dinner table topics? Maybe crime, inflation, economy, and border, I think would be fair. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence.
What is that? What is it? What does she do?
I could see us talking about AI.
Would that be a votable area of concern?
No.
Hold on, okay. I'm trying to read it. The Biden
regulate artificial intelligence, most notably passing a sweeping executive order in November promising to curb the threats of stem from AI. And Harris has become the face of some of these key announcements, saying in March that U.S. federal agencies must prove that their AI tools are not harmful to the public. The Republican Party has pledged to repeal the executive order, despite public opinion reflecting widespread bipartisan support of limits in AI development.
There's a guy on YouTube. His name is Matt Wolf. He covers AI all the time. He probably has more insight into and I use AI to work with. There was already an AI case that limited what you could do with AI before. And I think and you could correct me if I'm wrong, audience, but I believe there was a case in the federal court that already addressed this. So the executive order just kind of sped up the process, but that's not anything that they did, and that's not a national outrage. That's not, that's not an electable something you can be elected on. The fact that you can regulate, we're looking for accomplishments, and your accomplishment is that you regulated software that will create fake assets. So while we're looking for something real, your only accomplishment is how you deal with fake software. That's not something that's not tangible.
And what is she going to say exactly? We promise it's not dangerous, and like Scout's honor.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I want to keep posing this question to those who support her. What did she do that you are going to hire her for another 4 years and give her a promotion? So effectively she's the assistant coach of a football team that's struggling. Not only do you want to get a promotion to remain on the team, but you want to become now the head coach of the team. Well, what have you done? What is your accomplishment? Because there's all those other coaches, the line coaches and offensive coach, all those other coaches that you serve and work with, but the team is getting trounced. So what is your rationale for a promotion? I'm sorry, a contract extension and a promotion. That's all I'm asking.
Her right now, their talking point is that I've heard The View say it. I've heard a bunch of other podcasts say it, that Joe Biden is Joe Walsh said it when nobody believes him, that Joe Biden is the greatest president in our lifetime. So if he's the greatest, let's just go LeBron, Michael Jordan argument, and just follow me for a second. I'm going on a tangent, but I'll be back. If Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player ever, then Scottie Pippen, his co-player, should be considered equally great because Michael Jordan was good. So if they're saying, well, Joe Biden's the greatest president we've ever had, then that's her talking point. I was on the Joe Biden ticket, even though I got less than 1% of the vote, even though Elizabeth Warren, the fake Indian, got more black votes than I got. So I got thrown into so this is the second time you've actually been picked without votes. And right. I find it odd that the party that thought that Donald Trump was going to be a dictator and not count your votes are now hypocrites of the same thought process. Nobody voted for her. Nobody I know walking voted for her. Nobody I know picked her for anything. So now that she's there, now she's the default candidate. And if she's a great candidate and has accomplishments, that's what she needs to run on. She's going to run on, I'm a black woman. She's going to run on Donald Trump as a felon. She's going to run on the anything he messed up on when he was president. She's going to run on foul mouth. She's going to run on mean-spirited. She's going to run on everything except what did you do while you were vice president? Kamala, or however you want to say her name.
And you said she's not black, and that was something that stuck out to me because she ran on the fact that she's Indian, right? Didn't she?
She sure did. And so let me pull that up. Let me pull that up real quick.
I'm Native American, and I thought that was one of her big running points because I remember that.
And let me clear it up. Let me clear it up for the audience. Let me be clear what I'm saying, because a lot of people will hear that she's not black and they'll take offense to that because I'm a black man. Whatever. I'm talking about the semantics and logistics of what articles were saying she'd be the first African American candidate president. And for the duration of her life, she's been associated with her Jamaican and her Indian heritage. So that's what I'm distincting. I'm not saying that she's not of a melanated color or anything like that. I'm just talking about the points that I don't follow her, so I can't say that she's ever said she's an African American woman in the public, and that's what she's campaigned on. I think a lot of the pundits and there are people that are talking about it. Those are the people that have made that declaration. And so that's all I'm saying for the audience. I don't want anybody to be offended and say, yeah, y'all don't want you to call me Uncle Tom, even though you haven't read the book and Uncle Tom was the hero, or you want to call me a coon because raccoons are cool. But anything. But it's going with the next part. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I thought I remember that.
We didn't make it up. I mean, we didn't make it up. She, as you said, she didn't correct it either. She's been leaning in on it. You know, she cooks collard greens. She listens to jazz music. She went to HBCU.
I mean, she's not carrying hot sauce in her purse, so I guess that's better. I mean,
I guess. I mean, y'all tell me. What do you think?
I don't know. Jacqueline, if you're still watching, we're just talking about common everyday discussions we have. We're not disparaging your thought process, or we're not disparaging your candidate. We're simply saying we're asking for accomplishments. That's it. If you have accomplishments, Kamala did what every VP has to do. That's promote the POS agenda. The VP does not make any policy. Show me one who has. Okay.
Not a problem. Well, at the current moment, all we have is one to actually work with. So we don't have to, I'm not going to argue about what Cheney did. I'm not going to argue about others. I just want you to tell me what this one has done. That's all. Humor me. What did this one do?
I mean,
she lied about
wasn't the border her responsibility? The
borders are. She's the borders are.
She's supposed to be the
borders are
supposed to be the one that's over. That was her assignment. So let's just say that no other vice president has done any other accomplishment. Okay, fine. I'm gonna put it back on you, William Green. The border was her responsibility. Tell me what she did at the border, because that was her responsibility. So since we're not going to talk about other vice presidents, we can pull it up. That's fine. But the border, and if you're saying she promotes Biden's agenda, because that's what you're following up with, how is his agenda on the border? Because that's just another failure.
I mean, right. That's it. I mean,
the border was
because we're not voting for other VPs. We're actually voting for this one.
Fine, but
president. Go ahead.
Here's what I believe William is walking himself into. He's walking himself into a quicksand argument, because he's saying that no other vice president has done any policies, so they're just following their president's agenda. So the border was her responsibility, and she even admitted in this one interview that's a soundbite, which I didn't hear the whole interview, but she hadn't been to the border at that point. Yep. And so then here we go. Then he's saying that, well, that's Joe Biden's thing. Okay, well, the border's in disarray. So now you're telling me Joe Biden was a failure at the border, and Kamala Harris was a failure at the border. And then you're saying, well, because Joe Biden was under Obama was a failure at the border. So you're just going deeper and deeper into, and we're just asking for an accomplishment. We're not even asking.
Right,
we're not even going at, yeah, you're just presenting more discrediting points, and we're not. And here's the thing: none of us have even brought up the other candidate. We're not even talking about the candidate she's running against. We're simply
this is her opportunity to shine.
Her opportunity to stand forth, shine the light on herself, and say, what have you done that makes you worthy of being in a position that no one wanted you in? You ran for.
Let me also just add, if you have a football team and they have a losing season and they get decimated, they have a totally losing, they win one game. Usually the head coach is going to be looking for a job.
Absolutely.
But it's not just the head coach. A lot of the time it's the assistant coach. A lot of the time it's the line coach. It's the offensive coach. It's the quarterbacking coach. It's special teams coach. It's usually if it's bad enough, the whole posse could be replaced. But definitely the head coach, and usually the assistant coach, if it's bad enough. So if you're saying that they're bad, the border is a failure, whether it be under Biden or Harris, it's theirs. That's the point that's being made here.
I know who the border wasn't a failure under. I can tell you that.
I can tell you that too.
I can tell you that. I'm not even mention that. I can tell you who the border.
And the bad thing is, with you saying that, most people already knew what you're talking about. They know who it's not. They like, yeah, right. The border was tight. I mean, yeah. So,
okay, I did find an article from the HBCU Post that has listed all of the accomplishments of Vice President Harris, and I will just summarize them. I won't even go through them. She's been able to successfully confirm all of the nominees that President Biden has appointed. She is the main representative to diplomatic relations, and she visited. She was one of the first to visit Palawan, which is a province in the Philippines. She's advocated for the increased HBCU funding because she's a alumni of Howard. Yeah, well, I mean that started last year. That started last. Well, let's be fair. The forgiving of loans, as I understand it, the forgiving of loans started with Ruth Bader, not Ruth Bader. She was in Obama's administration. She forgave a set of loans. Then the unnamed candidate, we will not name, came through and pushed it further, and then Joe Biden furthered it. So she's supposed to be an advocate for HBCU funding.
I disagree with that, by the way.
Well, I didn't get into specifics. I'm telling you what the media would portray you, but I do disagree with what you're saying. It also says that she helped with the passage of the rescue plan, which was $2 trillion in COVID funds. She's been a champion for mental health and toured the country. She's been an effective leader in criminal justice reform. I'm just reading the article.
I just want to point out something because we're not going to send it to me. Maybe I'll save it for Sunday. Watch this. She's an advocate for mental health reform. Right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. So it's fair to say between the four of us, if Kamala was here, she would be perceived as the expert. Is that fair?
Yeah, probably.
Because she's an advocate for it. So she would be an expert between us three and her.
Absolutely.
But she didn't know that Joe was in the bad shape that he was in?
No, I will send you another I'll send you another article that points out timelines of where they believe the DNC started to, and this is not just a political article, there's a couple other articles out there where there were other private meetings and phone calls suggesting that they needed to make a move for him because he was on a mental what they call a cognitive decline. There are some people that believe
that's not what she was saying though.
Right, that's what I'm saying. She wasn't saying that.
Well, listen, just because a dog don't show his teeth don't mean it can't bark and bite. That's all I'm saying. So just because she didn't show her mouth and show her teeth doesn't mean she wasn't complicit in what was going on. But everybody around Joe knew what was going on. President Biden, everybody knew what was going on. She knew as well. She was biding her time because in my opinion, that I feel this is the only way that she knew that she could actually get into the position she's in now because nobody was going to vote for her. She has not won any national election that would put her ever. She's doing nothing, and she barely won a primary. She barely won her prosecutors. She barely won the prosecutor's race. I'm not a huge Ben Shapiro fan, but he did a whole documentary on her political career that's interesting to watch. Also, the Black Lives Matter, they've now filed a mandate about 3 days ago about how they don't feel the democratic process has been due. And they lay out a timeline from Friday to Tuesday about how they feel like this was a coup attempt simply to put Kamala Harris in place. Now, that's Black Lives Matter. The Black Lives Matter don't like
how I'm actually agreeing with them. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Black Lives Matters don't like you, then that's the issue. The point is, anybody voting for one person and not the other one, all we're asking for you to provide is just a list of accomplishments. These ones on this page are: she's been an outspoken advocate, she's been a vocal supporter of voting rights, she's been a vocal supporter of infant deletion and reproductive rights. Women don't start when you get pregnant; they start before you get pregnant. That's where your rights start. Go all back off my soapbox. She's championed environmental causes. She's worked to promote economic justice. She's helped address the southern border crisis. These are the list of accomplishments are fluff. They're complete fluff. And if you can provide a solid list of something that she's done, let's take out the VP as a senator. What did you do as a senator?
And her accomplishment. Go on a Post-it note.
Post-it note might be, you might have to fold it in quarter. You might have to fold it in half to list them all and turn the paper the long way. I don't know. Anybody watching this who comes back and watch a replay, we don't hate Kamala Harris. We don't hate the Democratic Party. Just tell us the accomplishments. That's it. That's all. Run me a list. Run me the ones with the accomplishment, and then we can have a discussion. And in the last 30 minutes we've been on, we have not even mentioned the other candidate. We've not said one thing about it. All we've talked about is the drawbacks from this whole thing that's about to go down. Because when she loses, in my opinion, then it's going to be that the country's racist again. That's what it's going to be, or the country's xenophobic again, or the country was won by white males, and as Joy Reid calls us, white adjacent men, because we're black and we don't vote Democrat. That's all this is about. This is
Jason,
all
I'll
this
send
about.
you this clip from where she did an interview on a radio station, and she said that she was going to keep her white husband out of the spotlight until Election Day.
She needs to.
Yeah.
She absolutely needs to.
Yeah.
And this will be the controversial statement of the show. You can't say, and maybe I shouldn't say it. Never mind, Jason. I don't want to get you in no trouble.
Because I'll just take it. I'll just take it. I do think.
No, this is what I'll say. If you leave your husband out of the spotlight, you're going to have to redefine the term Black Girl Magic. I'll say it like that. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to make any racial. But if you don't run with your husband by your side, your non-melanated husband, and stand on the values that you believe on,
and your stepdaughter, if you don't run like you're really all in this, you're redefining Black Girl Magic, in my opinion. Because Black Girl Magic is about transparency and honesty and being all out there with everything you have. Well, there you go.
So
let's do this, my good people, because we've been cooking. This started out just going over the YSL case, and now we just kind of deteriorated into political pundency, which is always fun. No problems or complaints about that at all. But let us do this, because I want to make sure that there are going to be more motions that are going to be dropping, and there'll be more things picking up before the day is over. It's almost 4 here in Georgia, so that means that there's probably at 5 o'clock, 5:10, they're going to start.
I'm going to drop. I've got a ton of stuff to do. So bye, guys. Thank you for having me up.
No problem. Thank you for stopping by.
There's a good question down there, bro. There's a very good question there.
This right here?
Yeah, huh?
No. I don't know. You tell me. Somebody said that, William. I didn't say it. If she wins in a clear and fair election, it is what it is. I see no reason to believe that it would be, though. Again, just stop and think for a second. She's never won a national primary. She hasn't won the last 2 roles that she's in. The only reason she's in the VP role is because of what happened because she was selected by Biden, and nobody really liked her then. So, and now the only reason she's here is because Biden was forced to step down. Nobody really wanted her there. So, okay. I mean, I see no reason. If you go to Trump country, go to a Trump rally, and you see the energy and the amount of people there and the such there, and you say, oh, yeah, she's going to top that. Okay. If that's okay, fine. I mean, anything could happen, but like I tell people all the time, at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, my king is not on the ballot. So I'm not worried. I'm not worried wringing my hands or anything like that. I actually find it rather enjoyable to watch. It's theater, in my opinion, because whether it be Kamala or whether it be Trump, guess what? They work under my king. The Lord God rules over them. So at the end of the day, as long as he is in control, I guess I'll be fine with Kamala's whatever. I guess $9 a gallon gas, I guess it is what it is. However, the same note, if Trump wins, okay, fine. But again, those people right there don't bother me. As long as Christ is in control, I'm fine. There you go. We'll rock on, brother.
That declaration.
Yeah, so rock on, man. But I appreciate you, William. That was good commentary. Thank you so much, sir. Mike, what you got?
Appreciate you coming to the channel.
Yeah, for sure. Mike, did you drop your link in the chat?
Your transplanted Texan is the greatest moderator that I've known. It ever existed in the history of all mankind of digital revolution and video communication. Yes, wow. Transplanted Texan. Yes, because they
man, that's
the moment I pop in the chat, they populate all of my links. A transplant text, and I'm gonna send you a code so you can get a free custom shirt. That's what I'm gonna do for
Well, there you
transplant
go.
text.
I wouldn't mind a code so I can like have you print me some shirts.
Jason, I've sent you loads of stuff. Yes or no?
Right, but I'm trying to like I need
saying,
loads more. Is what I'm saying.
Okay,
like this green hat does not need to go by itself. It needs another green shirt, man. It needs a green shirt.
Well, you don't wear the first green shirt. I'm not seeing you wear the first green.
I do.
Not
you know
the
what?
ones
I
I've
do.
sent.
It's upstairs. You're right.
Yeah, I've not seen. I'm not.
You're
I've not seen you wear the green shirt that I sent you ever.
Good point. Good point.
Fair
enough. I had it on yesterday, but that's fine.
I made a create, edit, upload, repeat of your color. I've never seen.
I had that one on yesterday too. My kids talk about the fact I do costume changes. I had it on yesterday. But it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I'm just saying, man. I be sending this stuff
I'll
out.
accept that.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, there it is. Transplant Texas. Thank you so much. So Mike is from White Label Consulting, as well as custom t-shirts and graphics. Check out what he's doing over there. We appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Looks like we had about 50, almost 60 of y'all at one point. Super dope. I always appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Let me know if you don't mind, dearwokec@gmail.com. If you enjoy this type of conversations about these particular court cases, I know sometimes they can get a little bit hazy and stuff like that. I'm trying to bring in some other guests to help augment my lack of knowledge. So that's why we have like Black Law Student, as well as like Cat Not Williams and others who've come on to add value to it. So let me know if you enjoy that kind of stuff. It really does help a lot. I do want to thank Rhonda for joining the membership. Thank you so much, Rhonda Grant, for becoming a member of the channel. I appreciate you. And Mike, you got anything fun going on besides trying to stay cool?
No, I just sent you a link of a video I'm dropping about the ATM Mini. I'm working on this new design for custom, a couple of new designs. So yeah, I'm in the grind. That's how it goes.
I love it. I did watch the ATM Mini video. Watch most of it. Please forgive me. I'll tell you about it in a minute.
Oh, but, okay, yeah. Let me
everybody,
know.
Thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all. Let's do it again. If something happens again tonight, I will probably jump back on. I was thinking about doing like a little farmers market haul tomorrow at the farmers market. We'll see. But that'll probably be spur of the moment.
We need to raise funds and go to the DNC. That'd be dope.
Say again?
We need to raise funds and go to the DNC. That'd be dope.
Dude, that would be so crazy.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Man, we'd be around there raising havoc.
That would be craziness.
I would have
first off, it's in Chicago, bro. It's in Chicago, so
not too far away.
I'm gonna.
If we fly Spirit. I mean, we can get
buy
like $19 and no luggage.
Bye. Goodbye. Nobody's flying Spirit. Nobody's flying.
You can fly Spirit or Frontier. We can get there like for like $16.
Right, but we'll be missing. Like,
I mean, we had to stand all the way on the flight, but
right, it's something. They're gonna shave my beard or something, man.
Yeah, they go make me cut off a dreadlock to get on the plane or something crazy.
There you go. Yeah, I need to go check on the steaks tomorrow. That's right.
Yeah, and they only let you bring a sandwich bag on the flight.
I love it, man. We had to, but all right, Mike, get out of here.
All right,
everybody. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with us this afternoon. We'll see you again. Until then, everybody, grace and peace. Take care.